My dad is having an affair with someone who is my age. I am kind of reeling. My mom doesn't want to talk about it and just says I don't understand what it means to be married. Maybe I don't, but I really don't think this is right. My dad, 49 male, and my mom, 47 female, have been married 20 plus years. They have me, 21 male, and my younger sibling. Don't want to get into siblings' age/gender as they don't know anything about this. They're younger though. Sibling was diagnosed with cancer 8 years ago, and it was a big journey to make sure that Sibling got through it. It took a big toll on the whole family. My mom gave up her job to look after Sibling full time. It was over 2 years of back and forth. But we got lucky, Sibling is thriving now. My dad has a high-powered job and always worked a lot, but he always made it home for dinner. But then about a year into Sibling's treatment, he started working late or going to golf club a night a week. Then over time it was 2 nights, and for the past few years it's been half the week. It was always sort of clear that Sibling's illness didn't exactly bring our parents together. My mom got totally into that, and TBH, she wasn't always very present for me emotionally, but Sibling was so unwell that I just kind of got it. She's been great ever since. I asked my mom a few years ago if she and dad were happy, and she said that marriage is more than just romance and rainbows and that they had a life together. Which didn't really answer my question, or maybe it did. About a year ago I finally twigged that my dad was having an affair, and it had been going on for a while. Basically I found a document that indicated that he rents a flat on the other side of town. There was just this moment when I realized, and my mom saw it kind of sink in, and she just shook her head and I didn't say anything. 2 days ago I found out who his mistress was. It's a girl who was in my class at school. Izzy actually used to go out with my best friend from ages 14 to 16. My friend was distraught when she broke up with him. It seems like she did this because she had met my dad. He rented a flat and they've been having an affair for 5 years. I confronted my dad, and he just told me that it was none of my business, that his relationship with my mother had evolved when Sibling got sick and that his needs had upgraded, and that Izzy can meet them in a way that my mother cannot. He said, and my mother confirmed, that he told my mom that he was planning to have an affair with Izzy before it started, and that ground rules were set so that Izzy couldn't come to our house, and that he would still be home X number of nights a week, and that no more than £X would be spent on Izzy. My mother gave her permission, and that's been the situation ever since. My mother just said she didn't want to discuss it and that relationships change over time. My dad said that he would go and stay in his flat for the rest of the week while I cooled off, but that he would come back on Monday and that we wouldn't be talking about it again. I've been living at home during the pandemic as my university has been shut, and I haven't exactly got anywhere else to go. Plus my mom doesn't want me to go. And Sibling is still in school and doesn't know anything about this. I'm physically kind of nauseous about this whole thing, and I don't want anyone to know. My dad is just a total creep. I hadn't spoken to Izzy in a long time, but I remember her as really quiet and very clever. She is also very beautiful. Her parents had a very messy divorce during the last couple of years at school, and I remember her being very upset about it. I can't believe that she's put in 5 years of her life into this. My friend really loved her. He spent a good 2 years trying to win her back. I don't know what to do. I need a roof over my head, but I don't want to look at my dad's smug face again. I hate how my mother can't meet my eye. I feel like Sibling knows something's up, and I don't want to lie. It's like the house I thought was made of bricks was just made out of straw, but I don't know if I have spine to blow the whole thing down. Would we be better off? Internet people, fresh perspective appreciated. Story 2. Wife cheated on me for 7 months, I tried to kill myself, took a plane ticket to Colombia, and now I'm having a fling with a gorgeous friend of my sister. Welcome. I had my D-Day roughly 2 weeks ago. I was checking out my wife's Reddit account, because she usually uses it to post pics of our lovely cats. Then, I noticed she had a long Ask Reddit comment on a thread regarding previous relationships that she was in. I expected a post about her ex that I knew, but instead she posted something along the lines about how she misses the one who got away and how she hadn't seen him in 5 months. They dated for 7 months behind my back. Mind you, she posted this a year ago and I stumbled on this post. By then, I was absolutely fuming. I woke her up gently, then showed her this and started screaming at her. I broke our wedding pics in our room, ripped up our wedding album, and I chased her outside until she ran off. Then I took 2.5 milligrams of emergency Xanax, but it was no use. I was shaking, sweating, and crying like never before despite my super low benzo tolerance. Eventually, my wife returned and saw that I started cutting myself, so she called the police, and I was sent to the ER. I was led home later that night. The next day, I woke up, started my car, played some sad music, and went to the train tracks to try and end it. The police were onto me and I spent a week in the suicide ward. Then I was let out, purchased plane tickets to Colombia while I was high and drunk and left the next day. Upon arriving, I met up with my biological sister who I only met once before I came here. She gave me a place to stay, and I spent time meeting the side of my family who I never met because my father left. I've had a great time being social and not isolated, and one of my sister's friends who she introduced me to ended up taking a liking to me, so I impulsively asked her out on a date, and we've been having a fling since. Yeah, this is where I'm at right now. I'm supposed to return to the US soon due to work obligations, but I feel completely indifferent to my wife now. She is delusional and thinks she's going to win my love back, and I have no idea what I am going to do. Story 3. Cheated on by husband. I have been married to my spouse for 18 years, we have 3 children. In late September he came to me and said he was unhappy with our marriage. He gave very minimal information about what was making him unhappy. He said several times that he loved me but was not in love with me. He says he felt like we lost our spark and wanted a more active life. I wanted to work on the marriage. He says he felt like he had already moved on. We did go to a few couple counseling sessions. He was very emotional and it has been difficult to get him to communicate his feelings. At the end of October he says he wanted to go rent a cottage on his own to take some time to think about our marriage. We agreed he would go for 2 weeks. I was very worried for him as he seemed so sad and I was worried he was struggling with depression. After he was gone for a week I found some information that he had actually left the country. I confronted him with this and he confirmed that he was staying with a woman he met on the internet. He flew home at the end of the 2 weeks. He told me that he has strong feelings for her and plans to continue with the relationship. The affair partner was ill during his 2-week visit and spent the entire time in hospital. My oldest child refuses to speak to him and has given him the ultimatum to either end his relationship with this woman or not have a relationship with her. He has stated that it is unfair that she is making him pick and will not end the relationship. I feel like he is a totally different person from the man I knew 3 months ago. He confirmed that he only started speaking to this woman in mid-September. Since returning, his involvement with all of the children has been very minimal. Is there any hope for repairing this? It feels like he is having a midlife crisis. He has ended relationships with all of his friends and has been caught lying to his family who also now have strained relationships with.